Thank you. Hello. Thank you very much. My name is Mattias and I'm an official grandmaster of memory. Somebody has to be that as well also, so yeah. Can you hear me all right? Perfect. What we will do for this half hour is that I will give you my best tips on how to take in new information as efficiently as possible. How to use our brain better to quickly be able to become an expert on learning new things. I've written 4 books about the brain and learning so far, and competed in memory competitions. I'll tell you a bit more about that in a second, but I thought that before we go into this lecture and tips and everything, we're going to do a small experiment. This is an experiment. How much can you take in of all this information that constantly overflows us each day? How much can you take in from this, and then later extract the right information from the brain just when you need it, from things that you might have only heard once, seen once, or read once? This will be an experiment, but I won't test you, I promise. But I thought that you could test me. And to do this, I actually, this morning coming here, I found today's the Baltic Times. I found this morning, and I did a quick read-through of it, so I thought we could just see how much can stick from information after a quick read-through like that. So I'm going to just choose a little helper here from the audience. Hey, I'm Mattias. Attars. Nice to meet you. Sorry.
No, good enough.
Perfect, good enough, yeah. You have to be the controller of the audience, and everyone around you can check also. So you don't need to do anything embarrassing or anything, but just check so it's the current edition of the Baltic Times. I just had, maybe for 50 minutes, I read through the newspaper. I didn't have time to go through all the ads and stuff, even if there wasn't much ad. There was a whole lot of information. News, what has happened in Latvia, the Baltics, and all around the globe. So we'll see. Attas, if you just open up the newspaper anywhere, so you can open it up, and we'll see, and you just say where you end up. Say which page you end up on, loudly, so I can hear it. Which page? Page 16. The Apollo Group is opening up a new kind of concept, Kentucky Fried Chicken in Riga. Isn't that true? That's what it talks about here. And if you start to read the article, you can see that the Kentucky Fried Chicken has been in Riga since 2010, but this is a totally new, refurnished, modern new thing. That's that. Then at the side of this article, we have the Latvian economics minister, who says that Latvian economics first. And his name is Ralf Nemiro. I read he's talking about that. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah. So yeah, there's a whole lot of economy news here. We have the French Intex group, EDEX group, the renewable energy group, who is buying up the German capital-based, what were they called? You got to help me, Ottars. The Baltic, yeah, exactly. The Baltic energy thing there. What do we have? We have the Latvian pensions index for this year. The Latvian pensions for this year will cost exactly 41.6 million euros. If you read through the article for this year, you see that, others? 41.6 million euros. It's right there, yeah. And as a last little article, we do have the, Lithuania are not happy with the Latvians buying energy from the new Astravets nuclear power plant built in Belarus right now. So they're complaining, you're going to buy energy from that. So there's a little bit conflict on this, right? Yeah, so thank you very much. Whew, that was only one page. But we try something else. Now we had some Latvian news. We'll see if we have something else. You can choose something else. I don't know what you want. Maybe some sports, I don't know. we will see. I thought about this. If this memory business doesn't really end up on anything, maybe sort of a news anchor could be something for me. I don't know. Ottas, something, another page? By the end of the, maybe it's more fun stuff, I don't know. But you just choose something from your own. Just say page, we'll try something, a last. Page 8, okay. The miniseries Chernobyl made a huge impact on the small district of Vilnius, Fabioniskis, where this was filmed. So that's been the best. They talk about people in the town there. It's been a super tourist now coming into there. So that's where they filmed those parts. And we have at the very last page, if you just to the last, we have another about this, where they talk about the Ignalinas. At the very last page, the bottom out, where they talk about the power plant Ignalinas that was shut down in 2010, but where they also filmed this, the mini-series, so it's in those two. That was the last page, page 24, of course, I know that. Thank you very much, everyone. That's it for today's news summary. But I have competed in learning, and this phenomena is called memory sports. It exists all over the globe. And I've been a proud member of the Swedish national team, traveling around, being the Swedish memory champion from 3 years in a row, travel around at the different world memory championships. And I thought I could show you a little bit some official results from these competitions. Because when we meet, usually over a weekend, we are challenged in a decathlon with 10 different events where we have to take in different kinds of informations. Everything from numbers, names and faces, sounds, images. We have to be able to use our brain for anything. For example, in the discipline of 30-minute numbers, we get a bunch of papers with just random digits that we get to stare at for half an hour. Yeah, sounds like fun, right? Then, after that, we get a clean sheet of paper and a pen, and we have to write down the exact order of as many as we can get right. And my best was to write down the exact order of these, which is actually 560 digits. But, wow, I'm in Latvia, I can feel it, thank you very much, yeah. But we don't always compete in this kind of estimationable information, digits and so on. We also have the very interesting 15-minute abstract images. Then we get a quarter of an hour where we have to learn the order of as many images as we can. And my best in this time was to learn the exact order of these images, which are abstract and black and white, but there are actually 192 unique images. Well, I promise you I will end this bragging part of the afternoon here, but with perhaps the most exciting discipline of them all, that is 30-minute binary digits, random ones and zeros. You surely understand how much fun we have during these weekends, right? And then we get these random ones and zeros, we have to stare at them for half an hour, then we get a clean sheet of paper and a pen, and again we have to write down the exact order of as many as we can remember. And if we have a single gap or a mistake, there's a lot of deductions, so we have to be really precise. So my best was to write down the exact order of these. 1,305. So, thank you very much. So how is this possible? No, I'm not born with any of these skills. I don't have photographic memory, but I've trained my brain in the best way of taking in new informations. And that's what we will learn together right now. Because this journey for me started when I was 28, 10 years ago, more or less. That's when I started to train my brain to think in this new way. So everyone who knows me before I was 28 know that I didn't have any special grades in school, no special skills, but this came at a much later place. And since that day, it's become sort of a mission for me to train other people, everything from young people in school, adults, elder, that you can use this faculty in a much better way. Do you think that there is one best way for our brain to learn new things? One best way that works for everyone and all topics? Do you think so? No? Yes, you will soon, when I'm finished. Because the best way for the brain to learn something new is when we get to have a real experience. When we experience something, let's say we get to climb a mountain. What happens during an experience is that the brain connects totally different things together, which are not normally connected. Here we would learn everything from plants, animals, geography, small stories just from the colleagues climbing, and everything goes together totally across across the way we normally learn one thing, one subject after another. It's a very dull way for the brain to learn something new. And what happens then that when everything, weird things connect together, when we get home, these kinds of weird connections are easily triggered in everyday life. So we come to think about what we've learned. And then we can use that information also to take a better decision at that moment. But our everyday learning, we cannot be out experience like the iNOVUSS like this. It's a fantastic experience, and you will learn many things in this way today. But on our usual day, we have to learn all sorts of maybe boring technical things and abstract things, if you are at work or in school or anything. But then we have to go to the brain's next best way to learn something new. And that's when we have a simulated experience. And that's what happens when we visualize something. When we see something before ourselves. We can try that right now, because everyone can do it. There's great research backing that up, where they tried filming the eye movements of people and see that we're all, when we're talking, we are looking at what we're talking about. And this is true for everyone, even the ones who say that I don't think in images. Yes, you do. We can try here. If you try to visualize a shovel here between my hands, try to see a shovel here, that you dig with and so on. What happens then when we try this is that for a fraction of a second, we might think we've seen some detail, and then it's gone. But maybe something glimpsed before us, some part of a handle, some part of a shaft, or some part of a shovel. Did something occur? Very shortly, and then it's gone. It's super vague. But the cool thing, it's like this for everyone, including me. It's very vague, but it works. That fragment of a second is just enough for the brain to create an actual experience of this. Because later, when some time has passed and we think back on what we have experienced, the brain can't really separate what we only visualized and what we actually experienced for real. So this is a way to hack into the brain, create the connections that we need. And we can use this when we need to learn normal things. And here is my recommended technique for this. How to learn abstract, difficult literature, new areas of work or anything. I will teach you the key of one image per page, which is in a way a new way of reading, which you can start with right away. Let's say that at work you get an economic report that you had to read. Then you use this technique. It works like this, that before you start to read, you choose an image for the first page. For example, the first page, you can choose a bag filled with money. Can you see this? You see it in front of you, yeah? It's vague, but it works. So then you start to read the first page, and during the reading, you come back to this inner image a few times, seeing it at the same time there. And then you go on to the next page. It just continues with economics here, but we'll choose a new image. For example, coin. We just choose something. You see a coin here? Something flashes before you. This is not enough, because if you want to become better at visualizing, there are two concrete criteria for this that you have to learn. The first thing is that we have to make our inner images bigger. You see the coin now? What you did now was to stretch your imagination, visualization muscles, so this makes the brain better at it. The second criteria is the images should be three-dimensional. No flat photographs. But I can take the coin here and put it to the side. Maybe it's this thick or so. As if it takes up space in front of us. So you try to see this here, and then you read the second page, come back to this inner image, go to the next page, just choose a new image. For example, a piggy bank, where you put coins in. See it like this? I mean, this is like a standard size that you should always use for visualizing three-dimensional objects. Then that's when you create the experiences in the brain. Like a little piggy bank, reading that, coming through. The next page might be it might be tough to come up with new images all the time, but you can always visualize a variation of a previous image. For example, the next fourth page here, you can choose let's again visualize a piggy bank that's cut in half, made out of chocolate. For the brain, this is an entirely new image. It works perfectly. So you read that, see that. Next image might be a metal piggy bank on its hind legs, staring there. The next one might be a small green plastic piggy bank, which is sort of drawn out, twisted against itself. You see it? No, something flashed by, even if no one has ever seen something like this in normal life. So what you do, then you do this, you read this 30 pages economic report like this. Afterwards, you do a very quick review, which is super quick, a mental review, where you just start to read the top of the page until you remember which image you choose. For example, you start to read the first page. What was our image for that? Bag of money. Then you immediately go to the next one. What was the image? Coin. The next one. Piggy bank. The next, fourth. Chocolate one. Then. Yes, the one on the hind legs, plastic and so on. Then you do this, and you turn these 30 pages into 30 different experiences for the brain. And these inner images, they work like magnets. They draw information to it. It's like they create the connection point in the brain. So it's like you vacuum clean up what you read. You can take in so much more from this. That's the magical thing. It's like we create folders in our brain, just like on a computer, for each page. So the brain starts to diversify. We start to automatically analyze. We have things top of mind. You know, the old way of learning, when we just read something over and over again, hoping for the best, I mean, that's as if we just take, on our computer, if we would take documents, just throw them in our hard drive without names or locations. Sure, they're there, but we wouldn't really find them just when we need them. And that's what happens when you do this with the brain. But when you think in images, you know where to find things. You find clues. You're there. You go out in normal life. Someone mentions something about economy, something that's similar to what's on page 4. Immediately, and a chocolate piggy bank comes to mind, and through that you automatically find other things on that page, and then you're very quick to find what you need on other pages too. So that's the miracle of it. So just to round this off, try to turn your life into more of a visual experience. This is the way to open up our brain so we can take in and actually use some of all this information around ourselves. You know, when we just read something over and over again, it's like we have the doors to our brain just a little tiny bit open. Not much comes in. But thinking visually, we're actively processing things. So we understand new things, we learn things, and it becomes much more fun. And just as an ending note, this is nothing new for our brain. You know, have you read a book once and then seen that as a movie afterwards? You ever done that? Then you're always disappointed, because just when reading a normal book, we do have these image fragments. We've seen something of the main characters, something of some events and places, and these form these magnets. When we think about what will happen later, we go through the folders in our brain. That's how we think and navigate. But up until now, we've been sort of left out to what might or not pop up, what images might or not come up. But now we can do this consciously. We can decide to visually. And then we take control over our learning. And that is something that we need during this information age we're in today. So thank you for this little short moment. I'll hang around. Let's talk. I'll be here out afterwards, so you can ask questions and we can talk more. This is just such a short introduction. But I hope it was interesting to you, and I hope you'll have a great day here at iNOVUSS. Thank you so much. My name is Mattias.
You have?
So, yeah, so we can maybe do something fun with this if you want to here.
I don't want, but if you want.
Yeah, of course. Take this.
I have to take this.
We can try something new. You know, what is happening currently in around here in Riga? We can have find something at the end of the newspaper. We'll see if we have some fun events happening. Let's see where we do have, if we have some nice guides to something which happening. Which page are you on?
22. Movie guide.
Movie guide, okay. Go see the Ad Astra with Brad Pitt. That's one thing.
Oh, yeah.
Then the food stuff. Go to the Moon Cafe if you're ever in Tallinn.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then what happens in then Estonian events, let's skip that. Latvian events, you find them at the bottom of the page there. Latvian events, we have between the 4th and the 7th of December, we have the September, sorry. We do have at the Kipsala Center, there will be the Riga food exhibition. Right?
International.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. And then after that, we do have something between the 6th and 8th of September. We have the Kremarata Baltic Orchestra Festival, a festival of young chamber musicians from all the Baltic countries. Then on the 7th of September, we have the Modern Arts White Night exhibition. Don't miss that.
All over Riga?
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. And then on the 10th, ending on the 10th of September, we have the International Exposition of Contemporary and Conceptual Jewelry, which are called the Sunshine in Butterfly Wings.
Sunlight!
At the Putty Gallery Arts here in Riga.
Yes.
So that's
sunlight.
basically it. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. Now I know what
Thanks.
to do.
We could have some fun at least.
Well, I did.
Yeah.
Amazing. What could I say? For actors, you know, we know this trick.
Yeah.
Yep. We learn by heart and then remember. Thank you,
Yeah.
Mattias.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Thank you very much.